And so he says, strengthen me. Now, I don't want to be too technical here this morning, but in this is written in like Hebrew language. So when you look at the original kind of prayer he prays here, and the original language of that word, strengthen me, it's implied in this verse, more than just give me strength. He's actually saying, and I'll put it in really simple English language, let's be glued together. There's this hint of this implied meaning of adhesion, getting stuck together. So there's more than just standing close to each other. Let's get joined at the hip. That's what it means. So when he says strengthen me, he's saying, let me get so close to you that I draw your strength out of you and into me. And I think a lot of you in this room have had times where you've been really desperate, you've drawn close to God, and he draws close to you, and you get a strength that you couldn't have drummed up yourself. Am I right? You've known times where you were going for surgery, or somebody you loved was going for surgery, and you normally would have been really anxious, but you prayed and you drew close to God, and you read the Bible a bit, and you found verses that promised you peace, and you got a peace that you could never explain. Am I right? I know I am. I've done that myself. I remember when I was visiting here back in the 90s, I had to go to a place in North Wales, and there was a church there, and I did some schools work, and I was staying with the pastor and his wife. Now, when I was 16, I got attacked by a German Shepherd dog, this Alsatian dog. Never bit me once, but it got me pinned against a wall. It had one hoof here and one hoof there. It had a head like a dinosaur, and it had the saliva of the preacher in the first church I ever went to. And I was like, oh, I was literally like this. And I couldn't stop stuttering for 3 days. I was so terrified. So I'm not a big fan of dogs, all right? And I had to go to this guy's house. His name was Mike Bettany. I want to just say, I hated his dog, but he is a nice guy, because I'm on camera here, okay? And so it was the weird thing. I think this dog was possessed, because I went to his house, and when he was in the room, and the dog never left me the whole weekend. It was a Rottweiler. Its head was heavier than my whole body mass. I'm not exaggerating. It was a giant dog. I bet it could have ate me in 3 bites. Easy, And so I sat in the same chair, and it sat next to me, looking at me the whole time. I'm thinking, is this God? Is this God? Is this dog psycho or what? He's like, look at me the whole time. And Mike was really pleased. He goes, that dog doesn't really normally like people, but he's took a shine to you. Oh, just my luck. The scary part was that he never moved the whole time, just stared like that. The whole time. 3 days I was there. I'm not even exaggerating. And then every time Mike wasn't in the room, the dog would go, this is not preaching, I'm telling you the truth now, okay? And if I tried to move, and Mike would come back in the room and the dog would be docile again. And I'd look at it, I think, I flipping hate that dog. But it was glued to me, I tell you, this thing was glued. Now, God's not like the dog. I know God is dog in reverse. I know all that, that's what you're thinking, but God isn't like that. He's not intimidating, he's loving. And this is what he's praying. He says, strengthen me. And here's the thing. Life takes not hardness of heart. It takes tenderness. It's the opposite. It's like you love God. It's amazing how he changes things and orchestrates things. And it's like he turns everything upside down. And he prays, strengthen me. Now, those of you who feel weak, this will be a great little verse for you. It's from, in the Old Testament, the book of Isaiah. It's chapter 40. It's the very last verse of Isaiah chapter 40. It's that easy to find. And it's from a really modern translation, which I really like. It says about God, he energizes those who get tired. He gives fresh strength to dropouts, for even young people tire and drop out. Young folk in their prime stumble and fall, but those who wait upon God get fresh strength. They spread their wings, soar like eagles, they run, they don't get tired, and they walk and don't lag behind. It's like this, your soul comes alive. Your soul gets energized. It's amazing how Jesus changes your life, especially when you're connected to him, especially when you're in relationship with him. It's a good thing.